Hello everybody and welcome back. In this video I'm going to talk about my venture into making 3D printed tire inserts for my crawler. So I started messing with Tinkercad a little bit, thought I was doing pretty good, and made a design of what popped in my head what I thought a tire insert should look like. So I made it. Took about 26 hours to make one. It's my first venture with TPU, so I'm still learning with that. Turns out it's got to print really slow for it to work right. So I would show you that insert, but it turned out really stiff, and I ended up cutting some pieces of it, try to see what if I made it thinner here and thinner there, how it would work and everything. And I ended up just cutting it up a little bit and gave it to the dog as a toy to play with. So I don't have it. I'll put a picture in here, let you see what it looked like. But it was super stiff and just a little too much. But the dimensions were all off and everything. So each time I worked on one, I worked on the dimensions a little bit. So what I decided to do was, there are some files on Thingiverse that you can use by several people. But none of them that I found fit the rupture tire just right. So what I did, I took one of their designs and modified it a little bit till I got the dimensions where I wanted. So the next one I did was, this one was the About Outdoors is the designer of this piece. This is a light insert, 117 millimeter, and I modified it to fit the rupture tire, which is the diameter I had right. I got the width a little too narrow. The center was different, so I changed and put a tube in there to fit it to make the ID right. Problem is, it broke right out. So the way I did it, these pieces didn't go through this correctly, so it was only making contact in two little places, so it broke out super easy. So that was a fail. That was my next fail. But I learned something every time. So I like this design. It's really soft. I think probably what I need for a lightweight truck like mine. So next one I found out, this is another one by the About Outdoors. Every one of these takes about a day to print. This one was, I think he called it medium. It's a good design. I think it'll work great. But the way I modified it, the inside diameter was right, so I didn't have to change that. I like that. I like all this right here. I didn't like these little pieces on the outer surface. I had to have supports for each one of those in the print. So the supports go all the way up in, and it takes forever to dig them out. So I didn't like that. So that's something I'm not going to use before. But to make it fit the outer diameter of the rupture, I put what they call a ring to give it a rounded edge. If you can see that really good. And I had to change and add this thickness right there to make the dimensions right. Well, another thing I learned is, when I'm doing this, is the infill in there can't be too great or it gets stiff. Also, the outer wall right here, I have it set to 0.8 millimeters, which that makes that pretty rigid. So this foam ended up being, it squishes a little, but it's probably good for a heavy truck, but that's not going to work for a lightweight truck like mine. So this one's a fail. I think I can modify this one and make it work, but I do not dig that outer dimension the way I have to do the support, so I'm not going to do that. So my idea is, I'm going to keep trying this until I find something that works, and then I'll make my own design, modify it how I want it, and then I come up with my own. And I've got a name for it and everything. I'll talk about that later. So now what I've landed on is the same, off that same first one I showed you, the light 17 millimeter. I changed the inside to get the dimensions right, and more than anything, I finally nailed the width and the diameter where I want it. This inner piece is a little stiffer, but so the insert's still pretty squishy on the outside, a little firm on the inside. It's got good side-to-side hold, which is what you need. So this is my third one. My fourth one is printing as I'm making this video. So the plan, and it should be ready within another hour or so. So I've been printing this all week to get this whole set. So I've got 2 of them on the truck already. So you can see kind of how they do. Got good compression to about the center, just like you saw in that. So, and then I've had it out on the rocks already. Testing it seems to be pretty good. I felt good enough with it to print 4 of them. So that's the plan. Now, this is somewhat directional. So what I've done is I've marked the inside of the wheel, you know, which each one is, so I can put them on directional and try it. So as of right now, I'm going to do it where it rotates in this direction because it just seems natural for me. I'll probably test it the other way, both ways. So I don't know how much it matters, but we're going to try that. So this is not going to be the final piece, but this is a start. So I finally got 4 of them that I can put on the truck. So I'm going to get the GoPro ready. I'm going to mount one of these up and show you how that goes. And hopefully by the time I get through doing that, the 4th one will be ready. I'll get them on the truck and we'll get them out there on the rocks and see how it does. So hang tight. Okay, so here we go. We're going to mount up one of these 3D printed tire inserts. So start by putting the centerpiece on. This is pretty simple. And then for me, it's best to turn the tire inside out and start from there. Just stretch around there. And this stuff is super durable. This, I will show you with this one. It holds up to a bunch of abuse as long as you print it right. This one wasn't printed right. You can see where it touched in only a few spots, so that's garbage now. I just wanted to show you that. So this one is the left front, so I need to check the direction of this. Now that is correct, so the wheel goes in this way. The fit is pretty good. Okay, so there we go. So it's got a good bit of compression, but what's cool about it is the side load. You see how the tire kind of folds up under there instead of folds that way. It's going to get more bite than if it folds this way. You know, if it folds this way, it's just going to go up there and flip the truck over. So the idea is to have a lot more side stability and still have good compression, being able to grab the rocks. So pretty happy with the fitment. After trying a few of them, I had some wider, some a little narrower. The diameter not exactly right. I think I got it right where I want it. So this is just test pieces. This is still part of the R&D. So hopefully we'll learn something from this and we'll get a final design with some more testing. It's going to take a while, but we'll get the final design done and hopefully we'll have something. So stay tuned. I'm gonna go get the other one off the printer and get it mounted up, and we'll get them out there on the rocks and see what happens. Okay, I'm fixing to take the truck out on the rocks, but I got one thing I noticed as I was putting this last tire on. I thought it was pretty interesting. This kind of shows how the insert works. So as I was torquing it down and holding the tire, you can see the tire twist. Thought that was really neat. So seems to be working pretty good. I'm really excited. So let's get it out on the rocks and we'll try it out. Okay, everybody, there you have it. So I think we're on to something now. The inserts seem to be working great. I'm very impressed with it. The truck did some things it never did before, and the conditions are not ideal. It is trying to rain. It was raining just a little bit when I was doing it. The rocks were a little wet, but it still outperformed the old foams I had in there by a long shot. And I think we're on to something. So, and now my charger is going to fire up and make some noise. On some of the spots, you can see the tire really digs and does good. On the side hill stuff, it just doesn't fall over. So I'm super impressed, and I can't wait to get it out there and have some dry weather, which may be a little while, but get it out to Moss Rock maybe and get my rocks all situated, and we'll see how it does. So I'm going to take this version, the dimensions, and reuse it, and I'm going to change everything up from my own design and try again. So but now I got something to work with, something to work off of. I'm very impressed and very pleased. So hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and we'll see you next time.